Hello, I am Pramod Kumar. Today we will study microeconomics. Our chapter is the theory of the firm under perfect competition, and the topic is supply curve of a firm. Right? So we know that in a perfectly competitive market, in order to have the output level where a firm maximizes its profits, three conditions need to be met. First condition is the market price P should be equal to marginal cost at Q0. Q0 is the output level decided by the firm for the purpose of profit maximization. Second condition, marginal cost is non-decreasing at Q0. Third condition is, in the short run, market price must be greater than or equal to average variable cost, and in the long run, market price must be equal to or greater than average cost. Right? So, when we plot the firm's that price output diagram, on the x-axis we plot output and y price or cost. So a firm goes for various combinations of price output combinations and goes for the level of output where its profit is maximized. So we will see how the supply curve is decided. For that we will need to do it in the two parts, short run, long run, right? So when we see the short run, we need to see whether those three conditions are met or not. What are those three conditions? Those three conditions are for a perfectly competitive market, and they indicate that level of output at which a firm is able to maximize its profits, right? So on x-axis, horizontal axis, output is plotted, various combinations of outputs. On y-axis, various combinations of price costs are plotted. We go to the short run. In the previous chapters we have seen average variable cost, short run average cost and short run marginal cost. Suppose we take P1 level of price, right? So how do we know what will be the output level by the firm for maximization of its profits in order to decide the firm's supply curve for the short run? So at any price level, in order for the firm to maximize its profits, those three conditions need to be met. If you see here, level of price at P1, and we equate this side with the output side, supply side by the firm. So we go to the short run marginal curve, right? And we equate P1 with the rising part of the SMC. Why we see the rising part of the SMC? Because for profit maximization, out of the three conditions, one condition is that marginal cost should be non-decreasing. Marginal cost should be non-decreasing, means either it should be constant flat or it should be increasing. So when we equate P1 with the rising part of the SMC curve, rising part of SMC on the SMC curve, we get the output level here, right, at this point. So our output becomes Q1. In the short run, at P1, our output becomes Q1, and then we analyze this. we see whether the three conditions are met or not at this level of price and output. OP1 of price, OQ1 of output, right? So we see that average variable cost is below P1, market price, or market price is above average variable cost, right? One condition is met. Second condition is marginal cost should be not decreasing. So at this point SMC is not decreasing. We have got it on the rising part of the SMC curve here. And the third condition is, in the short run price must be that we have already met, price must be equal to or greater than ABC. So that is met here, right? Price is greater than ABC. ABC is here, price is here, right? And we have taken it on the rising part of the SMC curve. And the third is market price P is equal to MC, is equal to marginal cost. So here P1 is equal to marginal cost. So all the three conditions are met. Suppose we take a lower price level of P2. So at P2 you will find for all positive levels of output, P2 price level, at all positive levels of output, ABC remains higher than the P2 market price, right? At P2 price level, at all levels of P2 positive output, ABC remains higher than P2, average variable cost remains higher than market price. So as per the third condition, that short run market price must be greater than or equal to ABC. Here it is market price is lower than ABC for all output positive output levels. So it cannot be that the firm produces at P2, because three conditions need to be met and one condition is being not met here, right? So the firm will not produce anything at P2, right? So when we summarize this, we can say a firm's short run supply curve, is a rising part of the SMC curve, from and above the minimum ABC. Where is the minimum ABC? Minimum ABC is here, right? Where the SMC curve cuts it from the minimum level. So the lowest part of the ABC is here, right? Where SMC cuts it from below. So once again, a firm's short run supply curve, is the rising part of the SMC. SMC is declining here, but it is here, from here it has started rising. Rising part of the SMC curve from and above the minimum ABC. This is the ABC and the minimum of ABC is here, average variable cost. From below SMC cuts it, right? So what happens? This bold line, becomes the short run supply curve for that particular firm, right? This bold line from here to there, okay? Same way we go to the long run. In the long run we talk of LRAC and LRMC. Long run average cost, long run marginal cost, right? So here also we presume P1, price P1, and we equate this P1 at LRMC curve, because we need to equate with the marginal cost curve. long run marginal cost curve. So when we come to this long run marginal curve equate P1, we come to this point, right? So our output level becomes Q1, OQ1, OQ1, since it is here, right? Now we test those three conditions. Here the market price is higher than the long run average cost. One condition is met. Second is marginal cost is non-decreasing at Q0. At Q1, output decided by the firm, level of output, marginal cost LRMC is non-decreasing. It's not declining, it's only going up, right? Third condition is in the long run, market price must be equal to or greater than average cost. So that also you will find at P1. P1 is higher than we are here at P1 and LRAC is here, long run average cost. So long run average cost is below P1 or P1 is higher than the long run average cost at this level of output, profit maximization level of output as a firm. Now let us presume a lower range of price, P2. At P2, for all positive output levels, if you move like this, you will find that the long run average cost is higher and P2 is lower. So it cannot be, third condition, it cannot be that the firm keeps on producing when market price is lower than the long run average cost, right? So at P2 the firm will not produce, right? And here you will find at P2 all the positive output levels, at all the positive output levels LRAC is higher than P2, right? So we can say here in this case at P1 all the three conditions are met. So Q1 is the level of profit maximization output decided by the firm. So we can say here a firm's long run supply curve is the rising part of the LRMC, this is the rising part, LRMC curve from and above the minimum of LRAC, from and above the minimum of LRAC, right? Together with zero output below LRAC, minimum LRAC. Below minimum LRAC, zero output will be there by the firm, right? And what is the long run supply curve? Long run supply curve will be this bold line, right? It goes from here. Why does it go from here? Because LRMC cuts the LRAC at its minimum here, at this point. So long run supply curve is this bold line, right? Okay. Now we go to the shutdown point. What is the shutdown point? First we have done this because everything emanates from this. What is the shutdown point? Shutdown point also there are two contexts, short term, long term, short run, long run. Firms do take shutdown depending upon their level of production and the level of profits, right? Or input prices or whatever. Shutdown means they shut down their operations for some time, and shutdowns may be temporary and may be permanent. So in temporary, suppose the production level improves due to whatever reasons, more demand in the economy or whatever, or input prices goes down. So that may be temporary phase and the firm may restart again. There could be long term also. In that case, firms may go out of the business, that particular business. Suppose a firm is in X line of business. If shutdown continues for a long term, the firm may choose to go out of the business in order to save on the fixed cost also. If there is a temporary shutdown, the firm continues to incur fixed costs, right? If there is a temporary shutdown, the firm continues to incur fixed cost, not variable cost. But if the shutdown is long period and the firm decides to go out of that particular business, then the firm doesn't have to incur that fixed cost also, because it goes out of that business. Now, how do we know what is the shutdown point, right? When we move down the supply curve, move down the supply curve, and when we come to the lowest point of the average variable cost, right? When we are moving down the supply curve, we had discussed that the bold line is the short run supply curve. When we move down the short run supply curve, we come to a point where average variable cost is at its minimum. So that minimum level of the average variable cost becomes the shutdown point for that particular firm. Below this, the firm will not produce, right? Why it will not produce? We have already seen. Because the price will go below, market price will go below the average variable cost. So, with production of each item, each unit of output, the firm will incur losses, right? So, when we move down the supply curve, we come to the point of the lowest point of average variable cost, and that is the shutdown point in the short run. The firm will not produce below this point, because if the firm continues to produce, it will incur losses on each unit of production, because below this point market price is even lower than average variable cost. It means the firm is not even in a position to cover variable cost. Let us forget about fixed cost, right? Similarly, when we go to the long run and we talk about shutdown point, once again, when we move down the long run supply curve, we had discussed that this bold line is the long run supply curve. When we move down the long run supply curve and come to the lowest point of the long run average curve, is this. That's the long run shutdown point. The firm or the company will not produce below this point, because below this point, for all positive levels of output, the market price will be lower than the long run average cost. It means with production of each unit of output, the firm will incur losses, right? And it will incur losses, and the more the firm produces, the more the losses will increase, right? So here the firm will take a shutdown, okay? Firms do take shutdowns in order to wait for the opportunity to re-enter again, or they take long-term shutdown and try to get out of the business when they see that they will not be able to survive in the business, right? Now we go to normal profit and break-even point. What is normal profit? Suppose I am having a firm, I am manufacturing pens, right? So, it may be that I have to engage labor. So, I have to pay for the labor, wages I have to pay. I engage some rented premises for manufacturing of these pens. So, I need to pay rent. But there could be a possibility that some of the items, factors of production, are with me. I own them. So, it can also happen that I can use those factors of production in my business without paying to anybody, right? See, if I am engaging labor from outside, I have to pay wages. If I am renting a premises, I have to pay rent. Same way, I could have some resources at my end which I could use in my business and for which I don't have to pay to anybody else. Right? So in this case, when I am paying for labor, wages for labor and rent for the premises, those are called explicit costs. Right? Explicit costs. And certain factors of production I am owning and I am using them in my business rather than using them for some other business and getting some return out of that. Right? Try to understand it. Suppose 5 kinds of factors of production or 4 kinds of factors of production are required for my pen manufacturing unit farm. So 3 kinds of factors of production I engage, pay for them. And 4th kind of factor of production I own, it belongs to me. So I could use them in my business. So the 3 kinds of factors of production which I am hiring, I need to pay for them. Those are called explicit costs. Right? And the factor of production which I am owning up, which belongs to me, I can use in my business, but when I am using that particular factor of production in my own business, I am losing the opportunity of using the same in some other kind of activity and getting some return. So, by using that 4th factor of production which I own in my own business, whatever I am losing by not employing it outside and earning some revenue, some money, some return is called opportunity cost. Right? Right? Explicit cost, opportunity cost. Because had I used that resource which was owned by me for some other activity, I would have gained some return. But it didn't happen. I used it in my own business for which I didn't get any return. That is called opportunity cost. So, when I am doing some level of business, level of output, level of production, where I am able to recover both these expenses, that is called normal profit. Right? Normal profit. If as a firm I am able to recover explicit costs as well as opportunity costs from my business, that is called normal profit. Right? We can say it like this. The firm normally expects to earn a profit that along with the explicit cost can also recover the opportunity cost of the firm. Right? The profit level that is just enough to recover these two, the profit level that is just able to recover these two is called the normal profit of the firm. Right? Just enough to cover these. Right? So, if a firm includes both its explicit cost and opportunity cost in the calculation of its total cost, the normal profit becomes the level of profit when total revenue is equal to total cost. Means no profit. Right? No profit, no loss. Since the firm is able to recover explicit cost as well as opportunity cost, so that point is no profit, zero level of profit. And when a firm is able to earn more than normal profit, that is called supernormal profit, right? Supernormal profit. So what is normal profit? If as a firm I am able to recover explicit cost as well as opportunity cost, that is called normal profit, means zero level of profit. And when a firm earns more than normal profit, that is called supernormal profit, right? In the long run, a firm will not produce at below normal profit, right? In the long run, a firm will not produce below normal profit. It will try that it must recover at least normal profit, explicit cost and opportunity cost. In the short run, however, it could happen. In the short run, however, it could happen that a firm produces for some time even below this level of normal profit, right? In the long run, a firm will not continue to produce below normal profit level, but in the short run, a firm may take a decision to continue to produce even when it is at below normal profit level. Those are business decisions, right? In the short run, however, it may produce even if the profit is less than the normal profit level, right? The point on the supply curve, short run supply curve, long run supply curve, the point on the supply curve at which a firm earns normal profit is called break even point, right? This is the short run supply curve, this one, this is the short run supply curve, right, the bold one. This is the long run supply curve, right? So in the short run or the long run, the point on the supply curve, at which a firm is able to earn a normal profit. What is normal profit? Where the firm is able to recover explicit cost as well as opportunity cost, and it comes to zero level of profit, right? Not supernormal profit, right? That is called normal profit, right? The point on the supply curve at which a firm earns normal profit is called the break-even point. Break-even point for that particular firm, right? Now we go to the opportunity cost. What is opportunity cost? Suppose I have got 1 lakh rupees, right, with me at my disposal, and I have got lot of choices. I can invest that money in my business, or I can keep it in my safe at home where I won't be able to get any return out of that money, or I can invest that money in a bank which gives 7% per annum rate of interest, or in another bank which gives 5% per annum rate of interest. The choice lies with me, right? So what is the best that I could lose by investing that money in my business, in my own business? I could invest in my own business, or I could keep in a safe, or I could in a bank at 7%, or in another bank at 5%, right? So suppose I invest that money in my business. So what is the maximum that I lose? The maximum that I lose is not keeping that money in the bank at 7% per annum rate of interest, right? So this is called the opportunity cost of deploying that 1 lakh rupees in my business, right? And the definition of opportunity cost is opportunity cost of some activity is the gain forgone, which I have forgone from the second best activity, right? Opportunity cost of some activity is the gain forgone from the second best activity. I am having 1 lakh rupees. I have got the option of investing that money in my business or keeping it in the safe at home where I will not be able to get anything, or keeping in bank A at 7% interest, or keeping in bank B for 5% interest. So what is the best that I lose? 7%. So 7% of interest on that 1 lakh rupees is the opportunity cost if I invest that 1 lakh rupees in my business. That is the opportunity cost. I have forgone that 7% interest rate which I could have got by investing that money in bank A, right? So I hope you found it easy to understand. I tried to make it very simple. In case of any difficulty, you may please approach me on my email ID, which will be there at the thumbnail to the video. Thank you very much.